Hello, y'all. So before the video begins, I actually want to make this quick announcement slash note for you guys that I've noticed while I'm editing the past few videos and as well as this video and probably the next 2 or 3 videos as well. As you guys can obviously tell, I'm going to be using screen recording a lot. Now, in the past, how I've done screen recording is that I've screen recorded the actual screen, and then on my phone, I've taken the video. However, for this video, I actually decided to use the app here on my computer, and as you can see, I've been doing the screen recording, and on the side, on the corner, you see me talking in video. However, because of that, I've come to find out, it's come to my attention that the audio syncing is just wildly off for some reason after like 2 or 3 minutes of video, and I don't really know how to fix it, so I just kind of want to give you guys this note that, yeah, this is just something we have to deal with for the next few videos, and I do truly apologize about that, but hopefully that doesn't deter you guys from liking the video as a whole. So yeah, thank you for understanding, and let's get on to the actual video.
Hello, this is Daniel Mart back again, and as you guys can see, I'm going to be doing another reaction video, and this is going to be my thoughts on the Rolling Stones version of their 100 best movies of the 21st century. So I recently found this out thanks to online, basically. I found this online as well, and apparently the Rolling Stones, their list is completely different to what the New York Times list is. So yeah, if you guys have been following my channel for the past week and a half, depending on when I post this video, I've been reacting to the New York Times and what they put for their top 100 movies of the past 25 years of the 21st century. I started off with how I would vote as a top 10. So I did that video. Then I reacted to the actual list that they had, and then I found out that they not leaked. What's the word? But that they showed how some of the people voted on there, from Bong Joon-ho, Rachel Zegler, for example, and a bunch of other people in between, from industry insiders, like movie executives to producers, directors, actors, and everything in between, from a wide range of people. So I reacted to that video as well, and that was probably probably the longest video I've done so far in this little mini series. And I'll be honest, I have seen just bits and pieces of it already, just because it's part of it's already online, and people have been reacting to, like, oh, how different this list is compared to the New York Times version of it is. And a huge chunk of the reason why it's so different to the New York Times is because of something they actually say here in this very second paragraph. And as they say here, the following 100 movies represent what a handful of Rolling Stone contributors who still believe in the movies, still obsess over them, and still find thrilling and chills and salvation in them have dubbed the best of this relatively still young century. So I think that's the most important line right there to take note of when it comes to reviewing this list. Unlike the New York Times, where they asked 500 plus industry insiders, again, actors, directors, producers, movie executives, and everything in between. The Rolling Stones, is they're the people who are voting for it are really just the people who work at Rolling Stones, which, because of that, you're going to get a completely diverse list, a just fundamentally diverse list, unlike the New York Times, where they're actually asking the industry insiders and seeing where everything's ranking. If something missed there, it's because maybe just didn't crack the top 100. Whereas here, it really just comes down to preference of, I'm going to say, about a few, maybe 50 to 100 people, give or take. Depends on what they're considering as contributors. I'm going to assume it's, the main writers and maybe some of the top people at the Rolling Stones and stuff like that. So I'm guessing between 50 to 100 people, if that much. And I feel like even then I'm being generous with that. And again, they're not really industry insiders at most. Movie critics, or like people who have produced like very small things, and maybe have been advisors or contributors to like small stuff, like maybe on TV. Like, that's what I'm thinking of who's working at Rolling Stones and who's making these decisions, who's voting for the top 100 here, as opposed to New York Times, where they're asking people from a wide spectrum across the industry. So yeah, and like I said, I've already seen some of the stuff that's on this list, and it is very much different. A lot more festival stuff, I guess I would say. That's the best way I would put it. A lot more stuff that you would see from like Cannes, Sundance, Southwest, Tribeca. I feel a lot more international. I could be wrong in that one, but it feels a lot more international stuff as well, and a lot more independent stuff. Now, granted, the term indie filmmaking, independent filmmaking is kind of it has kind of lost its luster in the past, I would say 25 years, honestly, because believe it or not, stuff like Lionsgate and like The Hunger Games, by technicality, is actually considered an indie movie because it's not made in a big studio, even though it's Lionsgate. So like stuff like that, like But here I would say it's a lot more independent stuff, or again more international, just stuff you probably don't hear about as often. So that's what I know about this and from the few stuff I have seen. And yeah, part of me wants to say that I get ready to get annoyed and pissed off. So there's that. And also with every single movie here they also do have their own little paragraphs. I'm not really gonna read the paragraphs. I'm just gonna go over the movies. Like, oh, what are my thoughts on this, and just kind of move on. And yeah, let's go. So at number 100, we have Margaret. Yeah, I don't know this movie, to be honest with you. Kenneth Lonergan, cool. And yeah, I mean, the only reason I know Margaret is because it was one of the movies that was mentioned often in the video I did, the last video I did, where I kind of reacted to the how other people voted, and that movie popped up a few times, so maybe something to watch out for. But yeah, Margaret at number 100, sure. Next up, we have Winter's Bone. And okay, cool, one of Jennifer Lawrence's first big movies. Sure, I'll be honest, I haven't seen this movie and can't really think much of it, but like it's one of those that maybe at 99 it makes sense, but like again, it's one of those things. Is this considered one of the best movies of the past 25 years? Like I don't even remember seeing it in like the 150 people who New York Times showed how they voted. I don't remember seeing Winter's Bone in any of those, give or take 120, 150 people that they showed of. So sure, I guess people here at Rolling Stones really like Winter's Bone. Granted, at number 99, but still. Okay, Norte, The End of History. Don't know this movie, haven't heard of it, and it wasn't, and nobody chose it in that other video I discussing in the New York Times. So yeah, don't know what to say about this one. Lav Diaz. It's a crime and punishment epic. Sure. No, from 2012. No, I have not seen it. I feel like this would be a lot shorter video now I think about it if I haven't seen most of these movies. What the hell? So I knew this one was coming. I knew City of God was like stupidly low, and I do mean stupidly low. And this is one I genuinely want to ask, like, why is this at 96? Like, City of God, by and large, in general, is just considered one of the best movies of the past 25 years. It's considered one of the best international movies of all time, and definitely the past 25 years, it's generally considered like one of the top ones. At New York Times, I believe it cracked the top 20, if not top 15, if I'm not mistaken. For me personally, it's also one of my top like 5 favorite movies. So maybe I am a bit more biased in this regard. But even with that, at number 96, this just seems ridiculously low. Like ridiculously low, in my opinion. So I have no idea what happened here. I don't know what the people at Rolling Stones are smoking. I'm not sure if they're smoking like the Rolling Stones used to do back in like the 60s and 70s. But this should be it should this should be this should be within the top 50 at the very least, like top 50 bare minimum. I don't know what the heck it's doing here at number 96. Like honestly, I feel like that's kind of a disgrace for City of God. So yeah, utter disgrace. Tony Urban. Okay, so this is one I need to watch. I'll be honest with you, but this is one I repeatedly heard is a good movie. I don't. I think it did make the New York Times list, if I'm not mistaken. I do think it made it. I don't remember where it placed. At number 95, it does seem kind of low. I would expect this to be more in the middle, maybe like 50s or 60s. So, I mean, again, with this pick alone, I already know they're smoking some really good stuff. So here we have The Hurt Locker. The Hurt Locker, I don't remember it breaking in the New York Times list. Not that I remember, but I know a lot of people did vote for it. So yeah, I mean, this was one that like it is one of the better movies, especially war movies of the past 25 years. And I do feel like the Hurt Locker just over time has what's the word? Like I think has lost a bit of its luster. I don't feel like people talk about it enough anymore or as much as they used to. So I do think there is that one little caveat, but even this at number 94 seems kind of low if you ask me. Next up we have Lingui, The Sacred Bond. Don't know what this is. Offside. So this is one I did see a few times from what other people were voting for the top 10 of the past 25 years back at the New York Times. So I did see this one often. There's a few times. I haven't seen it, never even heard of it until I started looking this up in the past week and a half. But sure, why not? At number 92, why not? Here we have Certified Copy, and this is what I have heard from time to time. I don't remember if it was voted for by other people. That one I don't recall. But sure, have it at number 91. Sure, why not? I do know people really like that movie a lot. Next up at number 90, we have La Commune, Paris, 1871. Don't know this movie, never heard of it. Next up, we have Decisions to Leave. And this is one that makes sense at number 89. It wasn't on the New York Times top 100, but it's one of those movies that I almost wonder that is it really one of the best movies of the past 25 years? And I do like the fact that people do consider it one of the best movies of the past 25 years, but it's one of those things, if you ask me personally, I probably wouldn't have thought of it as like, oh yeah, that is one of the best movies of the past 25 years. So yeah, it is kind of nice to see Decisions to Leave here at number 89. Here we have Fantastic Mr. Fox, and this is kind of a wild pick, if you ask me. I do wonder if they're going to have any more Wes Anderson movies on the list. Now, on the New York Times, actually back to back in like within the top 20, 25, if I'm not mistaken, back to back, they had Royal Tenenbaums and Grand Budapest. So I feel if they have Fantastic Mr. Fox, I almost feel like Grand Budapest and Royal Tenenbaums have to be on this list. So I feel like it's almost a guarantee. If this is the only Wes Anderson movie that's on the list, that seems kind of wild, if you ask me. And number 88, it's a decent spot. It's a decent spot at number 88. Next up, we have The Assassination of Jesse James. And this is one that, like, yeah, it is a good movie. Okay, but it is one of the best movies of the past 25 years. That's where I kind of shake on a little bit. I'm not really sure if I would personally consider it one of the best movies of the past 25 years. But I do appreciate it, and I do like the fact that other people do consider this as one of the best movies of the past 25 years. Definitely one of the better westerns of the past 25 years. I'll for sure give it that. Next up, we have Oppenheimer at number 86. This, again, seems ridiculously low. I believe Oppenheimer made it within the top 30 back in the New York Times. So, yeah, Dark Knight better be on here. That's the only thing to think of. Like, Dark Knight for sure should be on here then, using that logic, and maybe Memento. I kind of wonder if Barbie would also be here, because you had the whole Barbenheimer thing. So, yeah. Next up, we have Lincoln. And this is one that, like, yeah, this one will make sense. And number 85, sure, why not? Again, me personally, would I consider this as one of the best movies of the past 25 years? Or would I have thought about it? Maybe not. Maybe not. But again, that's not to discredit Lincoln either. But yeah, this one makes sense. And it is a great movie. It is a great movie. I remember back in middle school, actually, middle school, when this came out, I actually had to do like a report on Lincoln for extra credit. And funny enough, I actually never got my extra credit. I watched the movie, made a report, and I never got my extra credit for whatever reason. Next up, we have Dogtooth, and this is one that I saw a lot when people were talking about this and in the votings that the industry voted upon, that Dogtooth was considered one of the best movies of the past 25 years. I don't remember if it made the list, however. That one I don't remember, but, yeah, makes sense. Dogtooth, sure, have it up here. Here we have Hereditary, and for me, this is like one of those big snubs from the top 100, for sure. That for me, this is a snub that, yes, should have been there, for sure. And I like that they have it here. I do like that they have it here. And as we all know, Toni Collette, she got robbed of an Oscar. The fact that she didn't get nominated is absurd. So, don't know what happened there. And personally, I would have honestly nominated Gabriel Byrnes. I would have honestly nominated him for best, probably supporting actor, I guess, by that logic, because I actually do think he gave a really great, subdued performance. Next up, we have Portrait of a Lady on Fire. And yeah, at 82, it makes sense, to be honest with you, given how the Rolling Stones is kind of tracking. I remember in New York Times, this one made it within top 50, between like 40, I think, 40 or 50, I think, or maybe even 60, somewhere around there, right in the middle of the list. And for me, that was a surprise. Seeing this now here, yeah, I'm not surprised that it is on this list. It seems a little bit low, but at the same time, I kind of expect it to be this low. In fact, its placement on the New York Times actually really much surprised me as to how high it got on the list. The White Ribbon. So yeah, this is one movie that I've just discovered from doing these videos in the past week and a half. I have no idea what The White Ribbon is, but I'm really interested to watch it after seeing that apparently it's one of the best movies of the past 25 years. So I'll watch it eventually. And here we have, I guess, The White Ribbon, like the literal White Ribbon. I'm guessing it's a Holocaust movie then, or like a war movie. Michael Haneke. Does it say anything here? I'm not gonna read it right now. Maybe later. Best in Show. So yeah, this is one that was on the top 100 of New York Times, and a bunch of people did vote for it. So I guess I'll have to watch this one eventually as well. It has Eugene Levy, which I actually do like him from Schitt's Creek. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, at number 79. This one seems criminally low. This one again should be easily top 50. So I don't know. Again, City of God being at 96. So I already know they're smoking some really great stuff to put this low. Next up, Punch Drunk Love, and this is one that it didn't make the New York Times top 100. It did not make that list, but I do know a lot of people. I do remember a lot of people voting for this one as well. And I'll be honest, I haven't seen Punch Drunk Love, but it is considered one of Adam Sandler's better movies. Did it really come out in 2002? I could have sworn this came out like 2005, 2006. I thought it came out later. Did not realize it came out that early in the century. The Zone of Interest, and this is one that was like a wild pick for me. I still haven't seen it, and on the New York Times list, I think if I'm not mistaken, it made like within the top 25. So that was like a wild pick for me. Like I would, again, for me, it's not one of those movies I would consider one of the best movies of the past 25 years, simply because I wouldn't have thought of it. Again, it's not to say it's a bad movie. I just like, is it really considered one of the best movies of the past 25 years? It's one of those movies that would have honestly slipped my mind. Honestly, at number 77, this is like the placement that makes a lot more sense for it. For one of those movies that maybe didn't really become that big. Yeah, it got its Oscar nominations and beat Oppenheimer in one category in sound because they combined sound mixing and sound editing, so not just in sound. But that aside, like I don't. It's one of those movies that I just personally I don't hear that many people talking about it after that Oscar race ended. So yeah, this is honestly 77 is kind of where I would have placed it, give or take, like the bottom 30, 40s where I would have placed it. But just in general, I wouldn't have personally thought about it because I kind of would have forgotten about it straight up. So yeah, and also because I haven't seen the movie yet. So there's that too. Next up, we have 35 Shots of Rum. Don't know what this movie is. Next up, Uncut Gems. And I believe this one did make the list. Or a lot of either did make the list or a lot of people voted for it. I actually don't remember anymore. So, I mean, I've been correcting myself a bunch of times here on this video. So go ahead. Honestly, at number 75, it makes sense. It's a great. We have like almost two Adam Sandler movies, almost back to back, within like what 2 or 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces apart. Nice, but yeah, great. If they're doing like top 100 performances, for sure, Uncut Gems, his performance should be up on that list. John Wick said this is one that I personally think was an omission. Like it should have been an honorable mention. Like this is like a snub. Like this should have been on the list of the top 20, top 25, top 100 movies of the past 25 years. And it's one that I'm kind of surprised not that many people actually voted for it. On top of that, like it's for me, it's like really nobody even voted for John Wick or any of the John Wick movies. So for me, like the fact that they have John Wick here on the list, actually kind of like it, despite where they put City of God. I very much enjoy the fact that they have John Wick on the list because that for sure this should have easily been one of the best action movies of the past 25 years. So that easily, because of that alone, should have made it put on the list. But again, what shocked me more is the fact that almost nobody even, I don't remember anybody voting for John Wick on top of that. So the fact that they have here, honestly, it's really great. Doesn't make up for putting City of God at number 96, but still pretty good. Next up, we have Michael Clayton, and this is one that's honestly a mystery to me. Granted, I haven't seen Michael Clayton, but it's one of those movies like really people really consider this to be one of the best movies of the past 25 years. Like, geez, I gotta check this one out for sure. I'm pretty sure it made it higher too on the other list, on the New York Times list. Next up, we have Gosford Park, and this one didn't make the list. This one did not make the New York Times list, but I remember seeing this a few times, and people voted for it. I remember seeing that a few times. So sure, I mean it's the precursor to Downton Abbey. Next up, we have The Host. So on the other list, The Host did not make the list, but Memories of a Murder and Parasite made the list. It basically bookended the list with Memories of a Murder at 99 and Parasite at number 1. So The Host being here, because The Host is here, I basically expect Memories of a Murder and especially Parasite to be on the list. But yeah, having The Host here is pretty great, and this image is just kind of hysterical. Next up, we have Lost in Translation, and this one I think made the list. I actually don't remember anymore if this one made the list. If it didn't, it would be that would be a wild omission. But I'm almost positive it did make the list. So yeah, makes sense. It does seem a bit low if you ask me. But again, they're not really working by sound logic if they have City of God at number 96. And again, their source is like the 50 to 100 people that work at the magazine. Here we have Grizzly Man, and this one's actually significantly higher on this list than it is on the New York Times list. And on the New York Times, it was like number 95, 96, somewhere around there. And this is number 69. So, yeah, makes sense. I mean, I do wonder if this is going to be the only documentary on this list. I know the New York Times had a few documentaries, like 3 or 4 or 5 in total. I'd have to double check. But I don't imagine this being the only documentary, to be honest with you. I expect there's the Agnes, the Gleaners and I, if that's what it's called, the Agnes for the movie. And if they're gonna do some other wild picks, maybe something like Man on the Wire, that would make sense for that. Or maybe like, let's see, 13th. You have something like 13th. You have Citizen 4. That could be another documentary that's here. I'm Not Your Negro. The OJ movie, that like the 7-8 hour long movie, the OJ Simpson movie, documentary. So there are some other picks here. Maybe there's a war movie that I'm like forgetting, war documentary that I'm probably forgetting. Maybe something like that. Looking for Sugar Man, that's another one that could be up here. Here we have The Souvenir. Don't know this movie. Her. So yeah, Her made it pretty high on the other list, on the New York Times list. I believe within the top 40, if I'm not mistaken, 30, 40. I think it was a little bit higher than 50. So yeah, so this one, I mean, honestly, this one, like, putting it right there in the middle of the list at number 67, it's not that egregious. Although it's 13 years old at this point. That means no, this is 12. This movie's 12 years old. Jesus. Next up, we have Leviathan, which is another documentary. There we go. Leviathan's another documentary. This is one that was voted upon a lot, but I don't think it made the list. Not that I recall. So yeah. So yeah, we have 2 documentaries so far with Leviathan and Grizzly Man. I wonder if they're gonna have any more. Next up, we have okay, there we go, Royal Tenenbaums. I mean, this is low at number 65 compared to the New York Times that was within like the top 20, 25. So, I mean, what do you want me to say in that regard? The only other thing I can think of is that Grand Budapest better be on the list then. There we go. I Am Not Your Negro. Yeah, makes sense. The Florida Project. Yeah, this is something I kind of discovered while making these videos. Film people, like actual film people, really very much prefer the Florida Project over Honora, which I kind of like that too. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't seen the Florida Project. Despite being from Florida, I have not seen the Florida Project, but I do appreciate the fact that people like the Florida Project a lot more than Honora. Now, granted, part of it also has to do with the fact that my liking of Honora has seriously soured, in part because I strongly disagree with the fact that Mikey Madison won Best Actress. I 100% think that should have gone to Demi Moore for several reasons. But overall, I also feel the discussion around Honora has been kind of weird, especially even after that, because of other reasons. Yeah, my thoughts on Honora have honestly seriously soured. So there's that. So I kind of appreciate the fact that people are propping up the Florida Project and some of his other movies, like Tangerine, for example, over Honora. Next up, the 40-year-old version. And this is one that, like, looking at how people voted, I'm actually kind of surprised it got snubbed from the top 100 of the New York Times, to be honest. Honestly, I would have put this, the 40-year-old version, over Anchorman. Now, granted, it's not that I don't like Anchorman, it's much more that I just don't like Adam McKay as a filmmaker. And since he's the guy who did Anchorman, by that logic, I would take out Anchorman and put in the 40-year-old version. Granted, Anchorman is probably Adam McKay's best movie, but that's not saying a lot when his other movies are crap, like The Big Short, Vice, and the one about the end of the world with Leonardo DiCaprio, which I can't even bother to remember its name. So yeah, and I've just never found him to be an engaging filmmaker or a good comedic filmmaker. Like, honestly, his straight comedies like Anchorman and Talladega Nights are honestly a lot better, and Step Brothers are a lot better than his quasi-political dramatic comedy crap that he's done in past recent years. So there's also that. So I would have, honestly, if it were up to me, I would replace Anchorman with the 40-year-old version in a heartbeat. Next up, we have AI, artificial intelligence, and this is one that did not make the list. Now that I think about it, for the New York Times, but I remember seeing a lot of people vote for it. I thought this one came out in 2000. Like, I thought this came out in straight 2000, not 2001. Next up, we have Dogville, and this is one that I don't recall seeing it on the New York Times list, but seeing how people voted, I'm kind of surprised if it didn't make the list, and because I'm kind of misremembering now, but if it didn't make the list, I'm kind of surprised it wouldn't have made the list. Like, it's one of those things, like, this should have made the list. I actually don't remember if it didn't make the list or not. If it made the list, then great. If it didn't make the list, then that's a snub. Next up, Inglourious Basterds, and this was on the list. And yeah, this is kind of where I expect Inglourious Basterds to be. I think it was a little bit higher on the New York Times list. I think around 40 or 30, somewhere around there. But yeah, this is more or less what I expect it to be. Next up, we have The Tree of Life, and I'm pretty sure this is actually higher than it was in the New York Times list. I think the New York Times had it in the 70s. So here at the 50s, sure, why not? Pretty good. Let's move on. A Prophet. I think this one made the list for the New York Times, but I think it was like in the bottom 20, like from like 80 to 100, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there. If I'm not mistaken. I remember seeing a lot of people vote for it, however, which, given how many people voted for it, it'd be kind of crazy for it not to have made the list at that point. So yeah, this is, using that logic, this is also significantly higher than it would have been on the New York Times list. So yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't seen The Prophet, so I can't really comment on it, but it is, again, while making these videos, there are some of these movies I'm really interested in watching them now, like Michael Clayton, for example, and The Prophet, White Ribbon, and another one being part of that list. So hopefully I get to watch A Prophet soon and like just get my thoughts on it. Call Me by Your Name. This one made it on the New York Times list. This was kind of a surprise on the New York Times list. I think it made it right next to Portrait of a Lady on Fire, and I believe Lady Bird as well. So yeah, I mean, for me, again, it's one of those movies. Would I have personally put on the list? Probably not, but but I do appreciate the fact that other people do think it's one of the better movies of the past 25 years. Next up, we have Past Lives, and this one is significantly higher than it was on the New York Times list. The New York Times list had it within the bottom 15 from 85 to 100. That's where it placed. So this one's significantly higher, and this one of the few times I actually am going to agree with the Rolling Stones that yes, make it higher, make it higher, make it higher. Granted, I was kind of just pleased to see it on the New York Times list in general because I do think it could have missed on the New York Times list. It's still not an excuse them for putting City of God at number 96. Okay, here we have Memento, and yeah, for me, this is kind of a dark horse pick for Christopher Nolan. I even said that on the New York Times list, and then 2 or 3 places later, oh crap, we see Memento. So yeah, again, if you see Oppenheimer, if you see Memento, I almost find it crazy if The Dark Knight's not here at this point. 28 days later, and this for me is kind of a wild pick. I feel like other people probably would have voted for it, but and even me, I would have voted for this as one of the best movies of the top 100 years. Or sorry, one of the best movies of the past 25 years. One of the best 100 movies of the past 25 years. My bad. But for me personally, this is one I would have put, but I wouldn't have expected other people to put it. So yeah, so for it to be on this list, I think it's kind of great. It's kind of incredible. Still doesn't excuse them for putting City of God at number 96. Black Panther, sure. At number 52, sure. This one made, I think this was 97, 96, 97 on the New York Times. So I just barely made the list. If it were up to me, I honestly would not put Black Panther on the list, especially this high at number 52. I personally wouldn't. I think there's other better MCU movies. The first Avengers, to be honest with you, Avengers Endgame. Iron Man, I think, is a bit more deserving than that, if I'm being honest with you. And maybe even Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I think that's even more deserving than Black Panther, if you ask me personally. And even for Chadwick Boseman, even for me, something like The Five Bloods makes a lot more sense than Black Panther. For Ryan Coogler, this is Ryan Coogler, right? Yeah. For Ryan Coogler, the Creed movies would make a lot more sense. Or for me personally, it would be Fruitvale Station. So sure. I agree more with its placement on the New York Times list than this. But again, we already know they're smoking some really good stuff because of where they put City of God. Okay, next up we have Meek's Cutoff. Don't know what this movie is, so can't really comment on it. Okay, at number 50 we have Hunger, and this is one I'm almost surprised that didn't make the list on the New York Times. Looking at how other people voted, this is one that popped up repeatedly on other people's ballots. So this one is one that I'm kind of surprised didn't make the list for the New York Times. So yeah, it's kind of a pleasant surprise to see it here. Next up we have Anchorman. Sure, I mean, I already did my Adam McKay rant, but again, I just don't find him to be an engaging filmmaker. I don't find his movies to be all that funny. Ironically, Anchorman is probably his best movie, but that's not saying much when his other movies are Step Brothers, Talladega Nights, and the End of the World movie that I don't care to remember its name for whatever reason, and Vice, and The Big Short, and just a bunch of crap. Nickel Boys. So this is one that for me is kind of a shock by how much people really like it, because I almost feel like it's too technical of a movie for people to enjoy in some respects. And granted, I appreciate the fact that people are enjoying it that much and are considering it one of the best movies of the past 25 years. But again, would I personally have thought of it? No. But I do appreciate that. Next up, we have WALL-E. And for me, this is stupidly low. Not to be biased, again, it is one of my favorite movies of all time, within the top 5 favorite movies of all time for me personally. So the fact that it just barely cracks the top 50, it seems ridiculous in my opinion. It's criminally laughable, just like putting City of God at number 96. That is criminally laughably offensive. So I mean, for me, this should easily be within the top 20. What the hell is this movie doing here? And I don't mean that offensively, but again, one of those movies personally I would not have thought to put on the list. But sure, if people enjoy it that much, then sure, put it on the list. So it is a great movie. It is a great movie. So yeah, it just seems kind of random in my opinion. Next up, we have Under the Skin, and this one did make the top 100 if I'm not mistaken of the New York Times. I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, not pretty sure. I'm definitely sure that this is higher on this list than it was on the New York Times. I feel like the New York Times had it within the bottom 20, so from 80 down, I believe is where they had it. So yeah, but yeah, honestly, it's a really good, deserving movie. And yeah, I remember it's one that I almost voted for it, for me, myself, personally, but I just couldn't pull the trigger just because I thought there's other movies that would be a better fit. So I will say that much. Next up, we have The Master. And yes, this did make the New York Times. I'm pretty sure it's actually higher here than on the New York Times. So I'll say that much. I'll be honest, I need to watch this movie. I just haven't seen it. but it is one that a lot of people really do much enjoy because of the screenplay, especially, and because of the acting between Joaquin Phoenix and Philip Seymour Hoffman. Rest in peace. So it's one that, yes, it definitely is on the list, and it makes sense that it should be on the list. Next up, we have Tar, and I believe this is one that did make the list on the New York Times. I believe it was like within the 60s, 70s range, if I'm not mistaken. So it is significantly higher here than on the New York Times. And again, similar to some of these other movies, like Selma, for example, it's one of those movies where, like, if you were to ask me personally, I probably would have thought to put it there, but I appreciate the fact that other people are putting on the list, because I do agree with it. I do agree with it in that regard as well. Definitely, if you want to talk about screenplay alone, definitely one of the best screenplays of the past 25 years. Okay, here, yeah, we have The Dark Knight. Pretty sure this is way lower than it was on the New York Times. I feel like New York Times had it like within the 30s, so just a little bit higher. But yeah, I mean, I don't expect to see Nolan again anytime soon after this. If they have, like, let's say Dark Knight Rises or like Dunkirk or something like that, I'd generally be shocked. Next up, we have Spring Breakers. Now, I remember seeing this a few times on how people voted, and I thought that was kind of a wild pick. And this is one of those movies that's a little bit controversial. Some people really enjoy it, some people really don't like it. I'll be honest, I haven't seen it myself, so I can't really comment on it. But the fact that it's so controversial, like, because of that alone, should it make the list? Sure, and maybe that is a pretty decent argument for it. Granted, at number 41, that one I'm not really too sure about. Granted, I haven't seen the movie either, but there is that too. Now, next up, we have Burning, and this is one I completely agree with. This is one that I'm kind of shocked missed on the New York Times, given how many people voted for this one to be on their list of the best 100 movies of the past 25 years. I'm actually kind of shocked that this one missed, so I definitely agree with it being here. Again, it doesn't excuse Rolling Stone for putting City of God at number 96 and Wally at, like, what, number 43, 46? Where did Wally place again? Let me double check. Probably even lower than that. At number 47. I'm not going to excuse him for that anytime soon. I think that's a criminally offensive insult to them. So yeah. Next up, we have First Reformed, and this is one, yes, I definitely agree with, especially if you're talking about screenplays similar to Tar. If you're talking about just screenplay alone, yes, this should be on the list. 100%. I recently watched this for the first time a few months ago, and it's an incredible movie. Definitely do go check it out. Ethan Hawke did an amazing job in this movie. It's fantastic. Definitely do go check it out. And yes, at number 39, there is a part of me that says, or feels like it is a bit too high, if you ask me, but still, it does deserve to be on the list. I will say that much. Next up, we have 12 Years a Slave, and this seems kind of low, if you ask me. Don't remember. Actually, did the New York Times have it on their list? I actually don't remember if they had it on their list. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot by this point. But I feel like if the New York Times had it on their list, I feel like it was probably within, like, around the same position, but I still feel like it's a bit low in that regard. Next up, we have Pain and Glory. I'll be honest, I haven't seen this movie, but this kind of seems like a wild pick, if you ask me. So sure, why not? I think the Pedro Almodovar movie that they had on the New York Times list was Volver. So will we see Volver in on this list? I do doubt it. I'll be honest, I kind of doubt it, but I think that would be a pleasant surprise. Next up, we have Manchester by the Sea, and I'm pretty sure this is significantly higher on this list than it was on the New York Times. I feel like the New York Times had it within the bottom 15 as well. I think in the 90s, actually, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, can't really comment on it either because I haven't seen it. Next up, we have Phantom Thread, and I don't recall. I think this was on the list. I think this was on the list within the top 50, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, it was within the top 50, and it is a movie that a lot of people did vote for it. I'll be honest, I haven't seen it. I've only seen, like, clips of it, and I mean, it's Daniel Day Lewis. I mean, for starters, it's Daniel Day Lewis, and he's one of the best actors we've ever had. So yeah, I mean, we have Lincoln, so we might as well have Phantom Thread. Next up, we have Lord of the Rings, and they just put the entire trilogy, which I feel is kind of a cop-out, if I'm being honest. Now, on the New York Times list, only Fellowship of the Rings made it, and almost just barely, honestly. Like, it barely made it. And I remember even in that list, I said, like, I expected Lord of the Rings to be within the top 50, almost top 25. And here we have it, number 34, so I do agree with its placement. If it was only one movie, that's the thing. If it was only one movie, I would have agreed with its placement. If they would have put, like, 33, 34, 35 as Lord of the Rings 1, 2, and 3, then sure, do that. But I feel like it's kind of a cop-out to have just the entire trilogy in one. Unless you're going to pull out some other stuff like, let's say, Kill Bill as one movie later down the line, sure. But even then, I don't expect to see Kill Bill. That's the only thing I would feel is a bit off. I wouldn't have put the entire trilogy like that. I would have put them in their individual places. So that's one thing. I don't know if I agree with it in this format. Next up, we have A History of Violence, and this is one that missed on the New York Times, and I don't really remember seeing it. I think one or two people put it who voted for it, but I don't remember seeing it that often. So sure, I mean this seems kind of like a random pick if you ask me. Next up, we have Uncle Boomy. This is one that I'm kind of surprised I missed on the New York Times. Like looking at how other people voted and seeing how wild this movie is. I'm actually kind of surprised this movie missed on the New York Times. But at the same time, I kind of understand why it missed because it's kind of such an out there movie that not many people have watched it, and thus maybe not many people have voted for it. On top of that, next up we have No Country for Old Men, and this is stupidly low. Like this is stupidly low if you ask me. At number 31 on the New York Times, this one made number 6. And even for me personally, I almost put it on my own personal list of the top 10 movies of the past 25 years. I was this close to putting it on the list. The one thing that prevented me from putting it on the list is the fact that I hadn't seen it in such a long time that I would want to rewatch it again. That's the only thing with it. But at number 31, this seems low. That seems low. Next up, we have The Irishman. Why? Why? Okay, The Irishman is here. Then Wolf of Wall Street and The Departed better be on here. That's all I'm gonna say. Next up, we have Lady Bird, and this is one that, like, again, this is considered one of the best movies of the past 25 years. Again, for me personally, I would not have put this on the list. But again, I do appreciate the fact that other people are putting it at number 29. However, seems stupidly high. I feel like this should have been like around the 50s. And here we have Drive My Car. I don't recall. I don't think it made the list. I don't think it made the New York Times list. Not that I remember, but I remember a lot of people voting for this one. I haven't seen the movie. Even I have it. That's the funny thing. I have it. I just haven't seen it yet, so I can't really comment on it. But I do appreciate the fact that a lot of people enjoyed this movie a lot. Next up, we have Children of Men, and this one made it just a little bit higher on the New York Times. I believe this was like number 13. So like for me, this would be top 20 for sure. So yeah, a few spaces higher. Sure. I mean, this is not that egregious as opposed to Wally or City of God or No Country for Old Men. I think those three are very egregious, but you know, this will make sense. At number 27, here we have Before Sunset. I don't recall. I think one of the Before movies made it onto the list. I think I don't remember which one, but I think one of the Before movies made it onto the list. But like here's the thing, like Lord of the Rings, you're putting the whole trilogy here. For this, the Before movies, why not add all three of them as a trilogy? That's the reason I don't like that whole Lord of the Rings listing on number 34, 35, wherever Lord of the Rings placed. Because you're gonna set the precedent for that, but not have like all three Before movies, all well technically four Toy Story movies. Where if we see Toy Story, we saw Wally. So like the only other the only other Pixar movie I could really feasibly see on the list will be like Toy Story 3. But that's the other thing. Like only Toy Story 3 was from this century. The other two are from the 90s. So I guess Toy Story 3 and 4. But then I think you kind of be pulling down Toy Story 3 at that point. Maybe the Shrek movies. I don't see a snowball chance in hell that the Shrek movies are going to be on this list, but still. Okay, here we have Grand Budapest. Okay, makes sense. At number 25. This is around where it placed on the New York Times. So yeah, I agree with this one. Great. Next up, we have the 25th Hour at number 24. I guess just switch Grand Budapest for 25th Hour so it could be in the right place. That's all I'm going to say. No, this movie did not make the list of the New York Times, and I don't remember seeing people vote for it either. So there is that too. So kind of a random pick here. Next up, we have Faces Places. Sure, this Agnes Verde still. Yeah, so the Agnes Verde movie that a lot of people put, and a lot of people voted for, and that was actually on the list itself was Gleaners and I. Faces Places did not make it, so kind of a weird pick. I don't think Gleaners and I will be on this list. I feel like if we're gonna have one documentary about Agnes Varda, I mean, I guess technically it will be Gleaners and I, not Faces Places, but since Faces Places is here, I don't expect to see Gleaners and I. That would be a kind of a wild pick at that point to have two Agnes Varda documentaries. Okay, next up we have Get Out, and personally, this is more where I would place Get Out. If anything, I'd actually place Get Out a little bit lower, maybe in the 30s or 40s. On the New York Times list, I think it made the top 10. I think it was like number 7 or 8. So there is that. For me, I'm not the biggest fan of Jordan Peele as a director. I think Get Out is his best movie. For Us, I just can't get behind the world building of Us. I think it's a little bit too convoluted. And Nope was fine. I thought Nope was a fine, good movie. And that's the thing with Get Out. I feel like it's just a good movie. It is a strictly good movie. but I don't think it's fantastic. I don't think it's a great movie. I think it's a good movie. So sure, at number 20. I mean, I feel like it's a little bit high, but sure, leave it there. Why not? Why not? Next up, we have Roma. I don't recall Roma being on the list, but no, I've corrected myself a bunch of times there. But sure, why not? Maybe a bit high at number 21, maybe. Next up, we have The Act of Killing. I'm pretty sure this one did make the New York Times around the 60, 50 mark, I want to say. So yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't seen it, so I can't say it's too high, but I do like the fact that there is a documentary this high on the list. I don't think we will see another documentary after this. I highly doubt, because I mean, I'm thinking maybe 13th is the only other one that cracked. I mean, we already passed I Am Not Your Negro, because I don't think Sugar Man will crack it. I don't think Man on the Wire will crack this. So I think Act of Killing is probably like as far as we go for documentaries. Maybe Watch with Bashir. Maybe that could make like a surprise entry here. But even then, I don't think so. So yeah. Actually, do we have any other animated movies? I think it's only been Wall-E. Now I think about it, like what other animated movies I mean, we have Spirited Away. I think that's the next big pick. I don't think we'll see Shrek. Uh, Toy Story 3. I mean, I feel like we would have seen if we see Wall-E by now. I would have expected to see Toy Story 3 by now, or Incredibles, or Finding Nemo. So there is that, and then like I guess Waltz with Bashir will be the only other movie I can think of. We have Spirited Away. Yeah, maybe Howl's Moving Castle. That's another one. Yeah, but actually, now I think about it, it's kind of weird that Wall-E is the only animated movie we have here. Zodiac. So this is one. This made the list. I'm pretty sure this one did make the list on the New York Times. I'm pretty sure it made the list. I want to say it was like right more so in the middle of the list, like between the 40s and 60s, somewhere around there. I want to say it's where it placed. And I did see a lot of people vote for it. So yeah, it makes sense. This is one that I almost put on the list myself as well. For my top 10, this is one that I almost put on the list. So yeah, makes sense. I like it. I like it here at number 19. Inside Llewyn Davis, and this is another one, just like Michael Clayton, for example, and White Ribbon, that I need to watch. I need to watch this movie because a lot of people have been saying that this is one of the best movies of the past 25 years, and it's like, really, is it really that great? Oh, okay, because I need to watch it. So yeah, it has a cat, so I guess I do need to watch because I love cats. So I guess I'll have to watch it eventually. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Pretty sure this made the top 10. Pretty sure this was like number 7 or 8 as well. So this seems stupidly low, and that's what I'm gonna say. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So this one is around the same place that it placed on the New York Times. Pretty good. Yes, yeah. I guess I don't expect to see Tarantino after this. I don't expect to see Django and Kill Bill. I don't think will be here this high anymore. Kill Bill did make the list on the New York Times. I think it was within the bottom 30. So there is that. And so we had Kill Bill and Hollywood and Inglourious Bastards. On this list, I only expect to see Hollywood and Inglourious Bastards again. I don't expect to see Django or any other movies. Like if they put Jackie Brown randomly at number 5, that'd be such a surprise. Okay, there we go. Spirited Away. So yeah, I don't expect to see any other animated movie here aside from Wall-E and Spirited Away, which is honestly kind of a shame. But at the same time, I kind of got. Next up, we have Carol, and this one did make the list. I don't remember where it placed on the New York Times, but I remember it made the list. And I remember seeing a lot of people vote for it as well. So at number 14, maybe it's a bit too high. I'll be honest, I haven't seen it yet, so maybe it's a bit too high, but sure, why not? Next up, we have The Social Network now on the list for the New York Times. This was number 10. This was my last addition to my favorite movies of the past 25 years. This was like literally like last second edition. So, 10 and 13 sure seems a little bit low if you ask me, but not by that much. Next up, we have A Separation. I don't remember if this was on the list, to be honest with you. I don't remember seeing A Separation on the list for the New York Times, but I remember seeing a lot of people vote for this. So, yeah, and again, it's another movie I need to watch on top of that. Okay, we do have another documentary, OJ, Made in America. Fair enough. Okay, if we have any other documentaries past this, I would be super surprised at this point. I would be seriously surprised at this point if we have any other documentaries after this. Boyhood at number 10, sure, seems very high. It was on the New York Times list. I don't remember where it placed, but even on the New York Times list, I felt like it was a bit too high. So this at number 10 is stupidly high. It kind of comes down just to how it was filmed. That's really what it comes down to. I think the story is all right. I think it's decent. I think everything behind it is decent. It really just comes down to how it was filmed across so many years. I think that's what really sets it over the edge. Next up, we have Mulholland Drive, and this was number 2 on the New York Times. And for me, this is one of those movies where, like, if you ask me what are some of the best movies of the past 25 years, despite the fact that I have not seen Mulholland Drive yet, I would have said Mulholland Drive. So number 9, sure, makes sense, but realistically, a lot of people usually say this is like within the top 5 best movies of the past 25 years. So for it to be on number 9 seems kind of low, and especially because it was number 2 on the New York Times, still seems low. Next up, we have Yi Yi, a 1 and a 2. So here's the thing. This is another movie where, personally, I would not have thought to put it on the list. Part of it has to do with the fact that I could have sworn Yi Yi was like from 98, 99. So because of that alone, I would have said, no, Yi Yi is not one of the best movies of the past 25 years because it's not from the past 25 years. It's from like the past 26, 27 years. So there is that. I'll be honest, I haven't seen Yi Yi. And this did make the New York Times list. I believe it was, saying, like, granted, this is a number 8, but I believe it was like significantly lower on the list. I mean, I haven't seen it, so I can't really talk about it, but yeah, I mean, sure, put it at number 8, why not? I mean, City of God was right there, but whatever. Okay, yeah, Mad Max Fury Road. I mean, sure. I don't care for Mad Max. I'll be completely honest. I find it average. I find it to be a good movie, just like Get Out. It is a good movie. It is a good movie. So yeah, I mean, other better action movies aside from this would be like John Wick or Skyfall. I don't know. Whatever. And number 6, we have 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days. So this is one I saw a lot of people vote for. I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on it. But it's, again, one of those movies just like Michael Clayton and The White Ribbon that I'm really interested in watching because so many people have discussed this in the past like week and a half. So yeah, definitely have to go check it out. Next up, we have Y Tu Mamá También. And I don't remember this being on the list. I feel like it probably was. Probably like was within the top 50. Definitely not number 5. Definitely not number 5. So, but probably was within the top 50. I haven't seen the movie yet, so I can't really comment on it. But that being said, I don't. It's funny because I don't really see people saying Y Tu Mamá También is one of the best movies of the past 25 years. I usually don't hear people say that. So that's one of those things that's also kind of intriguing me. Like, really, this is considered one of the best movies of the past 25 years? Wow. I need to go watch it. Next up, we have Parasite, and well, the New York Times had it at number 1. For me, this would be the best movie of the past 25 years. As much as I love Wall-E, as much as I love City God, I do think Parasite is arguably the best movie of the past 25 years. So number 4, this seems kind of low. Next up, we have Moonlight. At number 3, this one I agree with. I'm pretty sure I made the top 15 on the New York Times list. If I'm not mistaken, probably even top 10. Definitely top 15, probably top 10 if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, at number 3, I mean, yeah, honestly, number 3, this is a very well-deserved spot. At number 3, it's a very well-deserved spot. In the Mood for Love, and this one did make the top 10, if not top 15 as well. And granted, I haven't seen it yet, but I'll still say I agree with it. It's a movie that I hear a lot of people discuss, and it is one that I really do very much want to watch eventually. Funny enough, I do have the criterion for it. I just haven't seen it yet, so that's on me. But yeah, at number 2, sure, why not? Definitely agree with this one. And at number 1, we have There Will Be Blood. And this was actually number 3 on the New York Times. It was Parasite, Mulholland Drive, and There Will Be Blood. And I'm pretty sure number 4 was actually In the Mood for Love. I think about it. So yeah, I mean, and sure, why not? I mean, again, personally, I would put Parasite. And within the top 5, I would still have City of God. I don't know what the hell they're thinking at number 96. Personally, I would put Wall-E, but realistically, Wall-E should be within at least the top 25. And number 6 on the New York Times was No Country for Old Men. That one I would definitely have here on the top 10 for them as well. But yeah, I will say, generally speaking, their top 10, I do agree with There Will Be Blood, In the Mood for Love, Moonlight, Parasite, Y Tu Mamá También. That's probably the one I would take out. 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days. Mad Max, Mad Max I would take out for sure. Yi Yi and Mulholland Drive and Boyhood. So within the top 10, I would keep Boyhood. Sure, why not? It's not that egregious, all things considered. I would keep Boyhood. The only one I would really take out would be Mad Max and maybe, well, nah, just read Mad Max. To be honest with you, just read Mad Max. Y Tu Mamá También, I'll leave it there. I'll leave Y Tu Mamá También. Sure, why not? But really, and I'll even leave Boyhood. But yeah, Mad Max is the one I would really take out. But yeah, overall, I think this is a pretty decent list across the board. Again, like I said, and like I've stated several times, I highly disagree with Wall-E and Country for Old Men and City of God being so ridiculously low on this list. I do like the fact that they have a lot more documentaries on this list because I feel like the other list only had like 2 or 3 documentaries, 2, 3, 4, 5 documentaries, whereas this one has like 5, 6, 7 different documentaries across the board. I'd have to double check that right now. And yeah, but overall, this list, honestly, this list not pissed me off as much as I thought it would. I'll say that much, but I still feel like the fact that this was selected by people who work for Rolling Stones as opposed to it being an actual industry discussion, so to speak, I do think that's why there's such a big difference for it. And because of that is why we see some of these really weird placements. That being said, I also do like the fact that they are pointing out or acknowledging some different films across the spectrum. So I do like that. Overall, not the worst list, not the best list, but it is what it is. I still think the New York Times list is a better list, a more comprehensive list, especially because they did discuss this with people from the industry. And yeah, that's basically it for now. What are your thoughts on this list, especially compared to the New York Times list? What are your thoughts on that? And I could do an honorable mentions list, but if you really want to see an honorable mentions list, literally look at the past 3 videos I've done to see what other movies I would include on a top 100. And yeah, that's basically it for now. Comment all that time. You let me know on your thoughts on this movie, on this list, and what movies you would have here, and all that good stuff. And that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.